Because 2.1a talks about Kripaya Vishtam. So that proper translates as material compassion. Then 2.1c talks about Visidantam, that means lamentation. So from there Prabhupada speaks lamentation, and then the one 2.1b talks about Ashru Purna Kulekshanam, that means full of tears. So that is where Prabhupada is quoting this directly from the verse. Kripaya Vishtam, that is material compassion, Vishidantam, that is lamentation, and Ashru Purna Kulekshanam, that is tears. And Prabhupada saying all these are signs of ignorance of the real self. And that's why Prabhupada explains that. So therefore, what is real self? Compassion for the eternal soul. So if we analyze the previous chapter, we will see in Srila Prabhupada's purports, the focus was the divine qualities in Arjuna, and therefore you will see Prabhupada is glorifying Arjuna for his compassion. That's such a noble heart only a Vaishnava can have. Then in the purports, Prabhupada is glorifying Arjuna's Vaishnava qualities. Obviously, that gives us an indication that what makes one recipient of the mercy of the Lord is when one has the Vaishnava qualities. But now here Prabhupada is going to emphasize on the point, especially in 2.1 to 10 we are going to see. Prabhupada emphasizes in the purports on the point. So now he is not portraying or zooming on Arjuna's nobility of character. But here, so that understood and done. Now Prabhupada is wanting to teach us a lesson. So therefore the emphasis of Prabhupada is going to be that material emotions are temporary. Material emotions are temporary. And that's where Prabhupada starts the discussion, and he explains so this material world is a place of misdirection, and that's where we see that mostly misdirected. The activities are misdirected, the thoughts are misdirected. And if we take a consolidated portrait of this misdirection, that is what is technically called as perversion. Everything is present, but everything is present in the wrong place. Either the time is wrong, or the place is wrong, or the person is wrong, or everything is wrong. That is what we see in this material. Bhagavatam 5th canto explains that. The beautiful description in Lord Rishabhdev is explaining. No, not Lord Rishabhdev. Maharaj Jadabharat is explaining in the Forest of Material Enjoyment that what happens to the living entity. Now, where he is not supposed to put faith, he puts faith. And therefore, one gets 100% cheated. and where he is supposed to put faith, he holds back. Very interesting. Lord Rishabh explains here in this chapter actually. So the living entity is completely, in that sense, misdirected actually. So sometimes, like we see when we go outside, in general one should be very careful not to put faith here and there. You know? Faith is a rare commodity. We should invest safely. And in general, from a holistic perspective, if we see that the share market value of the material investments is very down, like that. But still, actually, you see sometimes in voices also, you know, when you talk about so students, they come to second year, third year, and they start saying, okay, what next to do? So many times they may not feel very satisfied taking directions from the devotee seniors, but they will go outside and ask somebody, and whatever he says, they are going to follow. Many times you have seen that, this particular observation. And because so he was wanting to study software, like that. And now in our setup, we have our own company, we have our own software insights, like that. So what this devotee does is that now he wants to focus. He is from mass computing, so he wants to focus, like that, on a software career. So I see he goes all the way up to Pune to take some guidance, like that. Whenever summer happens, he goes all the way up to Pune to take some guidance. What should be done? What is the next move? Like that. But sometimes I was just wondering that the things are very much available here itself. Is it not? So sometimes we see that where faith is not to be applied, one puts faith. Similarly, many times we go to company, we go to office, we are very likely to take the words which are floating around very seriously. This is how life should be, this is how the activities should be, and this much focus has to be there, so on and so forth actually. And that's why and where faith has to be put or should be invested, there we feel a problem, That is the words of the Shastras. That is a lifestyle which is given, so misdirected actually. So Maharaj Jadabharat is explaining that the living entity, what happens is that he compares the outside people, the government officials and the official representatives as many places he gives a lot of comparisons, Maharaj Jadabharat. Some places he compares them to crickets, some places he compares them to insects, they come and bite, like that. So these type of personalities, they are sucking away our energy, like that, and being stung by all these wasps and crickets and so on and so forth. So Maharaj Jadabharat explains such a living entity, he comes back to his home. Now he comes back to his home in his own family. And generally in a family, person is supposed to behave in a peaceful way. Is it not? It is his family. Nothing is going to happen, even on the material scale, no problem which is going to happen. This is not. Nobody will kick him out. Nobody will show him a yellow slip. Okay, 1 month notice now. Nobody will give him a penalty. That is his home. But a person, what happens is that he comes back to his home and his own near and dear ones, who are there, he starts shouting at them. Sometimes, a common observation. Because what happens that material world doesn't give one opportunity. You are only on the receiving end because you are helpless. So many times you are helpless. Like that. If one goes in the office, many times one is helpless. And somebody is leg pulling, somebody is politicking, and there's a lot of competition, and the project is not going fine, the client is giving pressure, the management is giving pressure, The person can't do anything, he just has to smile and take it up. The then he goes home, and when he comes, he sees his child has come, he's asking for some chocolate, and this fellow chastises, you nonsense, you have not studied, like that, So this Maharaj Jadabharat describes in 5th canto, and then Maharaj Jadabharat describes, so in this way what happens is that when one bursts out on his own near and dear ones, all the larva which he has collected, like that, all the larva which he has collected, he just pours out on people nearby, then what happens is that that is going to now add on to the misery of his life. Is it not? So what happens is that the child is crying, and the wife comes, and there is a fight, and the wife is in one room, child is in another room, he is in another room, So it adds on to the misery. Is it not? So when somebody comes near us, if all we give him is lava, like that, what reciprocation we expect, Is it not? Like that. What reciprocation we expect back, We cannot expect it as a reciprocation flower petals, is it not? The person is very humble, he will not say anything, he will just walk off, But poor fellow will have some sort of scar in his heart, ये आके जब भी आता है कुछ तो बारूद डाल के जाता है like that. So Maharaj Jadabharat explained, this way one intensifies his misery actually. Misdirected, completely misdirected actually. Completely misdirected. Similarly, devotee community is our family. Association of devotees is our intimate family. And when we come in the association of devotees, we should not outpour all the nasty things which we have got and all the bitter experiences which we have got. That we should keep it aside. Devotee association is the medicine for all this bitterness of life. Provided we deal on devotee terms, like that. Misdirected. They are giving examples of misdirected activities and like that. So misdirected, like that. So the point is that now, okay, we have some heartburns that has to be dealt with in a different note or a different plane with different personalities, not with people who are very near and dear to us, is it not? Like that. So devotee association is our family, and if in devotee association whenever we come, all we pour out is lava, what are we going to get back in reciprocation? Is it not? All we pour out is bitterness, what are we going to get back in reciprocation? Like I remember one time one devotee was telling me that he was a doctor, he was just citing a case of an operation, and he was telling actually we were about to do operation and he was supplying anesthesia, probably he was in anesthesia department, things like that. And he was trying to supply, the patient was in pain and he was trying to supply anesthesia and all that. And what happened is that the patient was in pain and the patient was quite desperate about it. And then the doctors were cheering him up, take it up, hold on, just hold on, the operation is about to start, And this personality was not taking it up, like that, and he was so desperate, like that, and some wave of pain, and immediately this fellow, he kicked the doctor. In the desperation of the pain, he kicked the doctor, It was a lady patient, and she kicked the doctor, like that. So the point is that sometimes, we are also in pain and we are burnt up by material dealings, and everybody, either by materialistic people or devotees, having materialistic vibrations, but we are burnt up. That is the point, like that, Because devotees are also in quantum state, Sometimes on a devotee note they play, sometimes some other note also they play, like that. So then one is burnt up, and one is in pain, and one is, in Hindi they call it as chatpatana, And he is very desperate, but then, the medicine is there. The association of devotees is a medicine. And the service of the Lord, which is enacted out in the Sangha of devotees, that is a medicine. And if we are so much, restlessness, like that, and then a person other comes in and he says, okay, Prabhu, let us go and serve, and kick him out, You know? By our harshness, by our bitterness, like that. Then what cure and what treatment is going to take place? Is it not? We remain burning still, is it not? So this is the problem with misdirected and sometimes you ask devotees that, Prabhu, why are you so harsh, and why are you okay, the devotees, it's okay, you be peaceful little bit, like that, drink some water, if you want to take some sweet prasad, you take prasad, if you have not eaten, you go take prasad, come back, peacefully we will sit and discuss, why are you so much, agitated, why don't you talk properly, why bitterness, why, all such complicated, jargons, juggleries, and policies and rules and thoda, why don't you relate on a peaceful note, and I have tried asking this question to many devotees, and many of them gave a similar reply. So therefore I thought, we have to really understand pattern. Many of them give a similar reply. They said, Prabhu, once upon a time. I was also a very humble soul. I was like a cow, like that, and that was the orientation, all I will give is milk, and even the even the useless aspects of my dealings, that is cow dung, that would also be that would also be used in some, for so they said, but Prabhu, what happened is that, when a lamb is in the midst of lions, like that, then what to do? Either the lamb will be eaten up, or the lamb has to himself become a lion and roar, and therefore I am roaring. Sometimes devotees. So this is the explanation which I have heard from devotees. Many of them, told. But they said, you are not like this. But because dealings are like this, therefore we have become hardened up, So this is a typical example of misdirected. And therefore what happens is that say we got hardened up, like that. That is why the Shastras are giving us an insight. Now when we are going to understand Lord Krishna's insight on Jnana Yoga, so what Lord Krishna is telling is that don't conduct what you get further. Create an insulation between what you get and what you give. And how do we conduct that insulation? That insulation is created when we have the proper conceptions and perceptions. Like the input comes, otherwise it's going to be a very pathetic scene, is it not? By proper conceptions and perceptions, is it not? Just like you see, if we follow this philosophy in our kitchen department, say for example, then what does it mean? It means that okay, you have to get sabji from outside, that is the input, and what comes on the plate is the output, is it not? So if cabbage comes and cabbage is put on the plate, directly, khalo, holistic, is it not? And just imagine if the kaddu comes, and as it is, Karela comes as it is, very difficult, So if we just conduct what we get, we're going to land up in misery. 100% guaranteed, pure, unadulterated misery. And that is what is going to happen. So therefore, between input and output in the kitchen department, there is processing. refining, filtering. The unwanted and the useless aspects are given off, and those which are of value are taken up. Then they are washed, they are fried, is it not? Then they are salted, is it not? So that means that there is processing. That what is of value is kept, is more polished, refined, flavored, and then it is accepted. And that we do, and that we share with others. And people will say, "Kya banaya hai?" And this is the difference between neophyte proclivities and mature proclivities. Like we see advanced devotees, they are also getting the same kind of raw inputs, which are sharp, which are jerky, which are shaky. But they don't conduct immediately, they process it. Whatever is not of value, anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam, that is the filter we have to apply. So what is not of value is just shut off. And what is of value? Then they don't just leave it on that. And then that is refined, that is washed, that is made softened more, like that, flavored more, like that. And that processed food becomes a realization of a devotee. And that when he shares, others understand. Just like when we hear realizations of devotees and we associate with them in that scale, we immediately feel very nourished. We immediately feel, we kuch gaya hai andar, and we get that strength, is it not? Whereas, if what they receive is directly conducted, what we will receive is that dual and multi-dimensional misery, in the association of devotees, is it not? Because the point is that, anyways we are in the material world, we are already receiving, the material nature is giving us direct signals, so there is direct experience of misery, is it not? Now one thing is that directly misery is coming to me from the outside interface, and if I come near, if I come near, then the other devotee, if what is his misery he downloads on me, then I am getting double, no? Is it not? So that's how sometimes it becomes very difficult to take it up. Right? So, this is the point, that nothing we should take it on a material note. And sometimes devotees, what happens to them is that, when they come in the devotee circle, they become like lions, My God, the way they roar, and the whole stage is empty. Everyone flies off, or flees off, in fear. My God, this personality is roaring. Only the Lord can tolerate it. People run away, like that. But many times when we go out in a materialistic circle, there we are like a lamb. Would you like to take that? No, okay, take it. If you want to roar, you roar on the external note, like that. Sometimes, many times what happens is the devotees, they try to show their caliber, in the Sangha Vaishnavas, where it's not meant to be shown, where you are meant to be soft, where you are meant to be accommodative, where you are meant to have service attitude, not to show off, how powerful we are, how much we can. So very important. This is misdirected actually, and we see that whenever we misapply things, or we, in a misdirected application, what we will see, it intensifies the problems in our own life, like that. And we will see many times we mess up dealings, like that. We are angry because of somebody else, and we shout at somebody else, is it not? And then what happens? The other person whom we shout, he gets a wound, like that. Then, and we have spoiled our relationship with the other person. So then other person, he will not, next time he will not deal on a loving note. He will be reserved, you say maybe. So he is not ready to give anything. Isn't that? You see, this is the point which happens. So therefore, a very important principle actually. That we should know what to apply where. Similarly, sometimes devotees, they may fight with managers and they may fight with devotees. Why are you giving me so much seva and this and that? I have so many things to do in life, this, that. And then they go to the company and their boss is telling, you do this work, extra work today, you do this, that, you do this, that, and they say, okay, yes. There we remember humility. Like that. And similarly, we see that material world, or if we don't, so therefore, now, that is the reason why Lord Krishna in 30 verses is just going to explain, understand what is the difference between matter and spirit. What is the spiritual ground and what is the material ground? What needs to be applied where? Many times devotees learn managerial diplomatic techniques outside and they apply on devotees. Like recently I was just talking to Radheshyam Prabhu. And Radheshyam Prabhu was explaining, nowadays you see in Kundalila, so many books are coming by these outside writers, management books and all that. And people are constructive criticism and how to empathic listening and so on and so forth. And many of our devotees have read these books. I am not in favor of all this. Then he said, no, this should not be done. It makes a person completely artificial. Where Vedas are talking about some artificial traits, Vedas are talking about Swabhava, Swadharma. Understand who you are and just deal accordingly. Like that. So Vedas are talking about that. That's Varnashrama. But what is this artificial? Like that. And he said, you see, the height is that many times devotees, they come and talk to me and they deal in this way. And they say, if I am talking and I am doing like this, they also start doing like this. Yeah, this is one of the management techniques of winning people's winning people to bring them on your side. Yeah. I have heard it from Raishapur's lecture only. Many years back, like that. That if people they want to win clients, so how do you win clients? Like that, you observe your client very strongly, like that. And whatever he is, everybody has some typical thing which he does, like that. Somebody always does like this, Somebody always will do, somebody will do like this, I think it will be, this is called as idiosyncrasy, in technical terms, in linguistic terms. So you watch the particular idiosyncrasy of the other person. And whatever he's doing, you do the same thing. If he's talking, he's doing like this, you also reply, you also do like this, By that what happens is that the other person put faith in you. So these are the kind of techniques. And he said one, and Ashab was quoting an incident. I am not going into names, like that, but he was quoting names. Anyways, so he was explaining that this devotee came to me and he was talking to me, and I did like this, and he also did like this, Then I did like this, and he also did like this, And then I caught him. I said, hey, what are you doing with me? You are applying this Stephen Covey and Daniel Goleman and all these kind of principles of winning people and all that, And that devotee said, Prabhuji, you have read all these things. So many times, so that is the point. When we catch something from the outside world and we try it out on our devotees, So therefore many times our devotees become like gunny bags, or guinea pigs, that is, in the real, in the proper sense of the term. They become like guinea pigs, like that. Whatever we have to experiment, पहले इधर download करके देखो, चल रहा है क्या? हाँ, बराबर, That means, it's nice, like. So sometimes people learn so many things, You may learn some diplomatic traits, you may learn some cunning traits, like that, and everything is applied on devotees. जो भी है सब download, because वो it's a free download, devotee community many times becomes a free download, like that. And if you pass some years, 2, 3, 4 years, then whatever you download, people are going to take it up, कि ठीक है, and many times people also get doubt, ये spiritual है या material है, like that. But many times, a person, he doesn't take any action. He thinks, पता नहीं, हो सकता है मैं perceive नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ ठीक से, like that. So therefore, one needs to understand where to apply what. So when we are in devotee dealings, we should be in the mood of taking, learning, catching the inspiration, catching devotees doing right, like that. And when we go to the outside world, we should be in the mood of giving. There is no concept of taking. What do we take from people who are, there's no concept of taking, like that. So we are not much in a taking mood there. We relate with the materialistic world to give, not to take. But many times devotees misapply these two things, When they go to the material world, they take pura input. And they come in devotee association, they give, No, Prabhu, it should be done like that, This is not the way, That is the way, Like that. Is it not? So, and then what happens is that both the grounds, one is absolutely miserable. Because if you want to go to the outside world and take, you will be, like just imagine, the Prabhupada went to West. Now if Prabhupada was in a taking mood, then you just imagine you are in the devotee dress and you go to the Western world, like that, and if you start running some taking algorithms, my God, our life will be messed up completely, isn't that? Right? Like many times you go to till height of inferiority, isn't that? These people appear to be so confident, and they appear to be so, sometimes they appear to be so absorbed and they appear to be so much skilled and अभी क्या skilled, अभी कोई दिन रात एक ही चीज पे सर फोड़ेगा तो फूट ही जाएगा ना. Is it not, Yeah, like that only, They take one small thing and they bang it, and it breaks, And they show देखो टूट गया, तुम्हारा नहीं टूटा था. Isn't that, like that, So very difficult actually, Very difficult actually, in that sense, So therefore the point is that, we don't have to become restless, What is our place value, like that. So therefore, yes, on a spiritual note, the digital increment is slow, no doubt about it, because the dimension is subtle. So therefore the digital increment is slow, Just like if you see a digital meter, there is units, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 and 0, like that. And similarly at every place value there is a digital meter, like that. So the materialistic profile or his place value is a unit's position. And even if his meter is running fast, how does it matter? Again, whereas the devotee place value, as one advances, it goes to tens, hundreds, thousand, lag position, like that. So even if the meter is running slow, the digit meter, what is the problem? But one is नहीं उसका बहुत जल्दी चल रहा है ना, मुझे भी जल्दी चलाना है ना. And then sometimes what happens is भक्ति में इतना जल्दी नहीं चलता है ना, है कि नहीं? Then person thinks उधर जाना अच्छा है ना. So therefore one slides back to a materialistic note many a times, because the person feels उधर फटाफट चलता है ना, like that. But what is its place value? What change? So now we may say, what do you mean by place value, Prabhuji? Like that. The place value means what change it can bring about in solving the mess which we are in, or the kind of situation which we are in. So that devotee meter, the materialistic meter may run very fast, like that, and it may give immediate figures, but there is no place value, again. But whereas in a devotee's meter, the digits may be slow, but the place value is powerful. Even a little bit of movement is so powerful, like that. Therefore we will see that a little sincerely we practice bhakti, then what kind of realizations Krishna gives, what kind of solid visions the Lord gives, like that. It is amazing, it is out of the world. So much so that even on the note of Anishtit Bhajan Kriya, many times one is able to say no to Maya. Just imagine the power. It's not a utopian concept. Many of us many times say no to Maya, is it not? Right? Like for example, many times many of us say no to Maya. Is it not? Like we were in hostels and there were occasions, that you will get movies and you will get hall positions and you will get gymkhana positions and cultural technical fest positions, girlfriends and parties and this and that, and we said no, and we came and started living with devotees again. Then when we pass out, then there are again so many avenues which are available. Again, you can go to Chicago. You can go to Singapore, and we are sitting in Alipur, So we have said no, nahi chahiye, in the Middle East are offering MIT, we are saying nahi chahiye. Can you imagine, that is the kind of thing, And sometimes people are not able to understand, like that. So we all have done this. We have said no so many times. Like I remember one of the devotees who was getting a foreign chance in the institute, like that. He said no. He just came to Krishna consciousness, and he just said nahi chahiye, like that. And the other people who were there around him in his own department and all, they got so much of a shock. One or two of them started thinking, "Ye kar kya raha hai?" How can somebody, because it was not there in his definition, how can somebody say no to this? This is what we are existing to live for, and this man, and this is what this man was existing to live for last year. Mere hi wing mein, like that. And now he is getting it and he is rejecting it. He kar kya raha hai? And therefore with that opened up his angle. See, what is he doing? And he came to see what is he doing. And he also became a devotee. So the kick was कि इतना खतरनाक कैसे छोड़ दिया उसने, like that. And now he has left such a prestigious opportunity, a foreign chance, like that. So the point is that this is what. So therefore, if we learn the spiritual dimension or the spiritual note of dealings, then what can happen is that even on this platform, wherein we are not very advanced, we are simply struggling on the note of Anishit Bhajana Kriya, still we will be able to get such a solid and prominent experience of Krishna's grace, like that. The whole problem is misapplication, is it not? Just like somebody is diseased and he's coughing, the cure is not to put some handkerchief on his mouth. The cough band ho gaya. That is misapplication. The right application is take him to a doctor, get him treated, give him medicine treatment, take him. So that is why you see now in the coming verses also the Supreme Lord is going to use very strong verbal notes, just to awaken Arjuna to the understanding that what he is thinking is simply a misdirected thought process. It may be a very sophisticated churning of thought process, but kya fayda? If it is misdirected, what is the use of it? Is it just like somebody writes a software program 1 million line code, लेकिन result नहीं आ रहा है, क्या फायदा उस कोड का? Is it not like that? Right, na? No? So that is the whole point, misdirected. So one needs to understand what needs to be applied, what doesn't need to be applied actually. And that is why here Prabhupada is saying compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. So therefore lamentation for the outward dress, Prabhupada is saying, is the activity of a Shudra. The activity of a Shudra. So man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. So that means we should understand that even when we want to taking the specific quality of compassion, that even when we want to help other people, we never deal on a material note. I am explaining what I am saying. What is material, what is spiritual becomes defined by its ultimate result. Is it not? Right? So in our dealings, we seem to be pouring out some material aspects, is it not? But that is just the starter, right? That is just to open up the other person's heart many a times, is it not? But that is just to make him more comfortable, like that. Or that is to, right? Like we may give some spiritual classes, discover yourself. But along with that, we may also give we may give some mind control formulas, and we may give study management formulas and time management formulas, like that. So the person feels a little faith because he gets something on the platform which he can understand. So it is easier for him to extrapolate, and it is easier for him to develop relationship. And when a relationship is developed, what we give him is core spiritual inputs, like that. Then along with that, again we may give him some material help so that he can be completely balanced in the material world. Is it not? But ultimately we are helping the person on a spiritual note only. Is it not? Like that. So that is what Prabhupada is explaining, that what is a man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress. Like that. Simply by rescuing the outward dress, that is the gross material body. Anarya Jushtam. So that is not a work of a civilized man. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada describes this word Arya as one who is having, who understands the higher purpose of life, who is having spiritual values. Such a person is described as Arya, who know the purpose of life. So, Anarya means uncivilized, one who does not know the purpose of life. Like so this word which Prabhupada describes is nothing to give and take with the word Arya, which is used by the historians. That has a complete different, that has quite a different and negative connotation. Negative connotation actually. Has completely negative connotation. Yes. So historically speaking, this Arya is a concocted word. Aryan civilization, Aryan invasion, like that. Because to take it up very fast or to take it up very quick. So Europe had these two parts, the Protestants and the Catholics. So now Spain, Portugal, Italy, they were under the Catholic Church, and whereas Britain and Germany, France, they were under the Protestant Church. And both wanted to be like evangelists, expand. That was their idea. So they started going to various colonies, like that. Like these Catholics, they went to South America, and the Protestants, they came to India, like that. Any other place, they went to America also, like that. So then basically their idea was what, that we are very superior race, like that. So, and that was there in the Western writers' thoughts. Chaitanya Jambu explains all this. I'm just very I'm just taking it on a very quick note, just to make a point or to complete the point. So like Rudyard Kipling, he writes that it is a white man's burden to civilize the whole world. That was their idea. But when they came to India, they got a shock, and they were completely bowled out, because they were thinking that the outside, the whole world is barbarians and we are the only civilized people. That was their thought process. When they came to India, they got inferiority complex, like that, seeing Indian culture, their values, the richness of their dealing, the fineness and all that, and they got a headache seeing all that, and they thought everything in India is so powerful, like that. Like for example, these Indologists like Max Muller and this Williams, all these people, when they studied Indian, they found that Sanskrit is very close to Latin and Greek, which is the roots, which is their roots, like that. But Sanskrit is better than Latin and Greek, because vocab is better, its structure is more systematic, and you can do many, the expression can be much more, like that. So so now the point which is coming is very similar. This is better, means what? So these are the kind of expressions, they were getting, that, it seems that, the Pratyaksha Praman, what they were getting was that it seems that the Indian culture is a root, and this was unacceptable. They were not able to accept. How can we, come from, the Indians, like that. Therefore they came up with a concocted idea. And the concocted idea was, they said, okay, fine, we have not come from you. Your civilization and our civilization have come from a higher superior civilization, which is the Aryan civilization. So the Aryan civilization is all the good points, and what good points we have are coming from Aryan civilization, and what good points you have are also not yours, they are coming from the Aryan civilization, like that. That's what they did. And obviously we know that they misinterpreted the Shastras, and then they were trying to point out anomalies in that, and that's how because they get up with the idea that unless the Indians, they will not be ruled by us, unless they accept us as superior, like that. And this was their whole concept. Now the question was coming, okay, Aryan civilization, where is this Aryan civilization? Kidhar hai Aryan civilization in Europe? And then started another kind of competition, in the history. The competition was that every country in Arya, in Europe, they started saying, we are the Aryans, like that. So every country started saying, ये जो Aryan civilization है, ये हमारे से आया है, like that. But in general, if you see historically, what they are talking about as Aryans, were nomadic travelers, like that. And what they say is that the Aryans, they compose Rig Veda. Now, nomadic tribes which are traveling here and there, can they compose Rig Veda? To learn Sanskrit, it takes 12 years. The grammar of Sanskrit, something so refined and so fine, and somebody who's just traveling here and there, Banjara, वो किधर ऋग्वेदा बोलेगा, है ना? वो संस्कृत में भी बोल सकता है क्या? ये बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन है ना, इज इट नॉट? है ना, है कि नहीं? वी आर नॉट एबल टू स्पीक इन संस्कृत after being so much educated, you know, having a graduate degree and so on and so forth from IIT and IT and all that, you know? Is it not? So you see the point, you know? So, but this idea was but then everybody was taking up this idea and picking it up, and this idea was very prominently picked up by Adolf Hitler. And he said, no, we are the Aryans. Our race is the highest race. So he took it up. And therefore he, you know, took the swastik symbol also, you know, and he perverted it, you know, like that, because all he wanted was inauspicious for everyone, only auspiciousness for the Germans, you know, like that. Therefore he, you know, perverted it and all that, you know, and that way, and therefore this whole idea of, you know, so he took this idea and, you know, he created a havoc, you know, like that, and ultimately what it led to was the Second World War. You know, this whole idea. Therefore, historically speaking, this word Aryan is taken in a very negative sense actually, because it created a lot of you know, it's a concocted concept which created a lot of havoc. You know, this thing. So, and what Prabhupada is referring and what Lord Krishna is referring is nothing. No, they are just referring to spiritual values and those who know the purpose of life. Anarya Jushtam Aswargya. So, I think we'll stop here on this note. We'll continue tomorrow further in our discussion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Anarya Jushtam Aswargya. 2.1c. Oh, sorry. It comes in 2.2. Sorry. It comes in 2.2c actually. An-Arya. 2.2c it comes actually. This verse comes in 2.2c. The Lord is telling what you are doing is not befitting a gentleman, a civilized man. So there it comes actually. We'll speak more about 2.2 tomorrow, you know, like that. Speak more about 2.2 tomorrow. There you go. So tomorrow we'll assemble back at 7:10. Hare Krishna.